Hey everybody, we're back. Bandicoot is when you put a trumpet inside a woman's pants.
2. Cortex
Bandicoot.
strikes back. Press start to begin.
Good night, everybody. Well, it can't get any worse than that. So, fun fact, if you played Crash Bandicoot 2 before, and you want to skip this unskippable opening screen, press load game, and then back out of it. And it will take you straight to the...
Crystals. Of course.
There we go. Is that better, Clem?
But Dr. Cortex, to reach full power, we need not only your master
Hey, is that
crystal,
Rebel?
but also the remaining 25
The Rebel
slave
reptile?
crystals from the
In
surface.
my
How do you
stream?
expect to retrieve
More
them
likely than you
when
think.
we don't have any earthbound operatives left?
You fool!
Yeah, so if you want to skip this entire opening in Crash 2, and it works in Crash 3 as well, go into the load game option, and then just back out of it. And you'll be in the hub room, in like the hub warp room. Having skipped the opening, this intro level,
Crash,
and you can just jump straight into the game. It's really good.
Fried. Make yourself
Hey,
useful,
before I
big
think,
brother, and bring an extra battery for me.
Oh, I do have the analog version. Awesome. Crash 2 was released before analog sticks on PlayStation were a thing, but the greatest hits version added analog support. Fun fact, if you buy this game on PSN, for PS3, PSP, or Vita, it is not that version. So it's been a little while since we did Crash 1, so let's go over a few things. The intro is the ending to Crash 1, where Cortex falls from the blimp after we beat him up, because he was shooting lasers at us. As he fell, he lands in one of the temple ruins and finds the Master Crystal. Now, 1 year later, he has built a new, more powerful Cortex Vortex with which to control the entire world, but doesn't have enough power for it. His new cohort, Engine, suggests maybe gathering 25 slave crystals. As far as Crash is concerned, he just woke up and his sister Coco, introduced in this game, wants him to find her a new battery for her laptop. Somewhere. And it's possible our house is nearby here, but we'll never find out. So we have our classic spin. But new for Crash 2 is a crouch. And the things we can do with this crouch. Let's play the game. How's everybody doing? Whee! So it's possible that our house is somewhere beyond that.
Well, well, well. if it isn't Crash Bandicoot. Welcome. I apologize for the crude means used to bring you here, but I rather expect a written invitation would have been turned down. I need your help.
Or just not understood.
Surrounding you are a series of 5 doors. Through each door lies a well-hidden crystal. The crystals look like this. Bring me the crystals, Crash. That is all I will say for now. We will speak again.
So, like Crash 1, I'm not going to 100% this. I've 100%ed it in the past, and it becomes frustrating after a point. So we're just going to play this for fun, which is what we're here for. I am feeling a little out of it. I've been feeling a little out of it for the past few days. But in the spirit of cheering up my buddy Clem, who is recovering from illness, I have come back to streaming, and we're here to play video games. So we're going to play Crash 2. Lunar Silver Star Story Complete will continue, but today we're going to do Crash 2, and we're going to do all of this. We're not going anywhere till this is done. Let's go. So, Cortex has a voice now. I say that. Cortex has a new voice, because he was voiced in the original. But his voice now is legendary noted voice actor and actor Clancy Brown, who you may know, most notably, is playing the Kurgan in Highlander. How you doing, man? I try to play games for fun, it doesn't always work. Yeah, it was a good movie, wasn't it, Clem? Wasn't it, Clem? That's right. It was a good movie. One of the best movies ever. Absolute classic Highlander. Boom. And yet there were sequels. The Conundrum. Well, well, now that's fucked. It's fine, we won't get 100% anyway. Oh. I like Highlander. It's a good movie. I even like Highlander 2, The Quickening, which is a bad movie. But it's not a boring movie. And that's what's important. So in Crash 1, square and circle were both spin. In this game, circle is now everything to do with crouching. So square spins the body, circle lowers the body. So standing still, crouch, moving, slide, jumping, belly flop. Back when Naughty Dog was an uncomplicated company that just made games for fun. And didn't try to tell you that their games were the best thing ever. Even though they weren't. They were just kinda bland. And controlled kinda poorly. When games were fun. Thank you. Yeah, of course, Clancy Brown has done, like, so much more than just Highlander. Clancy Brown has appeared on this stream before. He voiced most of the dragons in Spyro 1. I haven't streamed any of the LEGO DC games. They had him reprise his role as Lex Luthor in those, from the DC animated universe.
Well done, Crash. I knew I could rely on you. Now listen carefully. These holograms are hard to maintain. During the course of my intellectual pursuits, I have stumbled across a force that threatens to destroy the world. Crystals are the only means of containing it. The fate of the world is at stake. It is imperative, therefore, that you bring them to me.
There, Crash? Crash! Crash! Are you there? Are you there, Crash?
The Insane Trilogy is actually a really good way of playing these games. And they give you hints on how to find some of the harder to find gems. Like, I know in the Insane Trilogy there's a hint that tells you how to get the gem that I'm going to grab here just to demonstrate. Wanna grab that? Yep, took a mask from me, the bastards. In the Insane Trilogy, Cortex isn't voiced by Clancy Brown anymore. He's voiced by Lex Lang, who started voicing Cortex, I think with Twinsanity, maybe? And he's good. Like, there's nothing wrong with Lex Lang's performance. He's a good Cortex. And it's really the only notable difference you're going to get between the original and the Insane Trilogy. Like, yeah, one's going to look graphically better. The Insane Trilogy has a better save functionality in Crash 1. You can play as Coco in Crash 1 and Crash 2. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Beat the stage without breaking any boxes. But aside from that, like, Lex Lang's the biggest change you're likely to notice. He's a good Cortex, I like him. There's the crash dance.
So, you were helping Cortex gather crystals, yet you have acquired a gem. Interesting. Well, Crash, know this. As long as you are allied with Cortex, you are my sworn enemy, and I will do anything in my power to stop you. If the fate of the world is truly your concern, you must gather the gems, not the crystals. If you obtain all 42 gems, I can use them to focus a laser. A laser beam that will destroy Cortex and the space station he's created. Until then, I must use my forces to stop you from gathering crystals.
So that's the explanation for why there are enemies attacking you. They're supposed to be Brio's forces, rather than Cortex's. Because why would Cortex send his people after you? He's apparently got no people, and he's trying to use you to gather the crystals. Anyway, in relation to what you're saying, Rebel, I don't think it's so much that the hitboxes are fixed. In this game, the hitboxes are very square. Or, like, in the original trilogy, they're very square. I think they rounded a lot of the hitboxes in the Insane trilogy, and that's the problem. That's why a lot of them are harder. Because they're not flat surfaces to jump on or anything anymore, the hitboxes are a lot tighter. Yeah. What a time for that to pop up. Is that legendary streamer Foxhound Cat? In fact, while we're here, Clem, can we get shoutouts for both Rebel and Cat, please? Both cool people, absolutely worth following. Playing video games. Look, until Cat streams Metal Gear Solid VR missions, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. Nobody should stream VR missions, like, it's just not fun. Yeah, Crash 1, so climbing level in the bridge away half for no reason. Yeah, it's in the bridge levels. The road to wherever level, like the high road, the road to nowhere levels. In the original, it's a lot easier to jump onto the ropes and just walk along them. It's still possible in the Insane trilogy, but it's a lot harder. Belly flop. I said belly flop. One thing I'm not overly fond of that Crash does, and this happens in all three of the original games, there are levels where you absolutely cannot 100% them on your first time through, and the game will give you no indication of that. Like, in Spyro 1, you can 100% every level you go into when you go into it. In Spyro 2 and 3 you can't, but there are always clear markers of where and why you can't. But in Crash 2 and 3 there's various levels that will have secret paths that you have to get into from other levels, which means you can't 100% them. I think Hangate has another secret gem. With an interesting stipulation. Also a really good track. I love Hangate's theme. There you go. You're actually on a timer from the minute you start the stage. That timer doesn't actually start when you get the first checkpoint, it's running from when you start the stage. It just pops up when you get the first checkpoint. It's not actually that tight, I just screwed up quite a bit and I wasn't using the boost on the surfboard often enough. Fun fact, if you subscribe to Klim's stream with a tier 3 sub, he will send you a personalised video of himself doing the crash
I
dance.
see you are getting the hang of it. I need to conserve power. I will communicate with you again after you retrieve the 5th crystal.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the Tomb Raider Remaster Collection. I feel like seeing them either remake, remaster, or re-release a lot of these old games is like it's probably going to become more common for every company, I think. Because a lot of these IPs they're sitting on are valuable. They have a lot of nostalgic value to them. And a quick remaster done well can reinvigorate them for a new audience, while also being so much cheaper than developing a new game. So I think we're probably going to start seeing more and more of that. And I'm hoping we do. More games like this being more accessible for people, great. Like, I'll happily sit here and emulate every PS1 game I've ever wanted to play and ever loved playing as a kid. Not everybody has that as an option, though. Yeah, it's why I think remastering rather than necessarily remaking is important. Adding new quality of life features, great. Changing how they work, not so much. Like, the Tomb Raider remasters, they look great, with a very clear harkening back to the style of the original time. Particularly with the way Lara looks. I love the way Lara looks in the remaster, because it looks like she did in the CGs. So it's a cleaner design, while still very much being the design of the time. And the quality of life feature they've got for it is the ability to save anywhere. Which is great, it absolutely makes Tomb Raider 1 a lot more playable. The new modern controls I'm not super into, but they're good for people who want to do it and don't like the old tank controls. At the end of the day, I think remastering a lot of these older games and giving people options for playing them is the best way to do it. Like, in terms of gameplay, Crash 1 was never really bad. The big problem with Crash 1, especially going back to it, was the save system. The save system was awful. And the Insane Trilogy fixes that specifically. Which is great. Yeah, like, not everybody has emulation as an option. Not everybody wants to emulate. It's fair enough. But a lot of these people may want to play these old games. And just making them more available is absolutely really important. I think the Spyro remasters, Spyro needed remastering so much less than Crash. Spyro always played fine, and even in today's world, it plays fine, the original Spyro. So all they could really do is give it some more visual pizzazz. And I think, while it's nice that they did, some of it's too much. I think particularly gem hunting, especially in Spyro 1, is made harder by how much more detailed the levels are in the Reignited trilogy. think it's a bit too much. While the new animations that the dragons get are really nice. I know they took the opportunity to change some of the lines the dragons have, because a lot of them in the original are just like, thank you for releasing me. And it's like, cool, the last 6 dragons said that. So I know there's more of that, and there's more distinctive, unique designs for the dragons. And they all have, like, really neat animations. It's great. It's a visual update that is at least getting your money's worth out of the visual side of that update. Because gameplay-wise, it never needed to be updated. It really didn't. I'm glad that it happened. I hope we may eventually get a Spyro 4 same way as we got Crash 4. Because, in all honesty, I vibe with Spyro more than I vibe with Crash. That said, I'm at the point now where I enjoy Crash 1 more than Spyro 1. But you're absolutely right. Spyro 1 feels bland, but it gets better with 2 and 3. But that was always the case. That was the case in the PlayStation days as well. And Spyro 2 knows more what it wants to be, and it's got more defined and distinctive character moments. That wasn't helpful. So it becomes a more engaging thing, and Spyro grows as you play, getting the new abilities that you buy from Moneybags, and Moneybags is a character you can just hate. Great. And then Spyro 3 is more of that. I don't think it's even just the world. I think it's that Spyro 2 and 3 both have more characters. Because in Spyro 1, there are like 3 characters. There's Spyro, there's the reporter, and there's Nasty Nork. And you only see the reporter at the start and the end. Nasty only speaks in the original. Even when you get to Nasty's, the final boss, he doesn't say anything or do anything. There's no introduction cutscene to him as the final boss. You just go into the level and he's there. Spyro 2 introduces a bunch of characters, and the characters have conversations as the game goes through. Spyro 1 has the dragons, but the dragons appear once, or in some cases twice, with the ones you rescue again in Nasty's world. But they're just there to be hints. There we go. Whereas Spyro 2 opens up and you're immediately introduced to the Professor and Alora and Hunter, and by the end of the game you'll hate Hunter. And Ripto is actually a character. It's like an important thing for a lot of games like this, is to have your villains be regularly present. Because at the end of the day, as much as we still enjoy these and they're still like great games, they are kids' games. There we go. They are kids' games aimed at kids. And think about it in context of like a cartoon. Imagine watching something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, and Shredder shows up in the first episode and the last episode, and that's it. That's Nasty Nork in Spyro 1. Meanwhile, in Spyro 2, Ripto's regularly present. In Sparrow 3, the Sorceress regularly shows up, and Bianca comes along a lot. Talks shit. I don't even remember who Shredder is. Or do you mean Nasty Nork? You gotta remember who Shredder is. I have 22 lives already. I can make whatever mistakes I want. I'm not running out of lives. Hey, welcome on in. I'm laughing to death. Give me a second and I'll properly sort that out. There we go. There we go. Yeah, and Cortex does the same thing in Crash 1. He has an introduction, and then he's right there at the end. Though, one thing that puts him above Nasty Nork is, when you get to the final boss, he does at least say something. No, they're Norks. No, actually, there's a line somewhere in Sparrow 1
Listen up. We are not without
that
enemies.
every monster in the game is actually treasure, and that Nasty Nork has found a spell to turn treasure into monsters,
Attack you on your way to the next one.
which is why every
to the
monster
next
drops gems.
Use the platform that appears in the center of the room. Good luck.
Ah, it's Ripperoo, the first one. I was thinking it was the Komodo brothers. Only returning boss from the first game. Right, now just do that 2 more times. Oh, there's Teak. Just that's what I kind of I mean, Ripperoo's probably a good example of that in the Crash series. Because Crash 2 and 3 don't acknowledge the first series a whole lot. Outside of Crash 2's intro being Crash 1's ending and Ripperoo. Because like Pinstripe doesn't reappear until Crash Team Racing. After this, Ripperoo doesn't reappear until Crash Team Racing. Embryo's the only real standout of that. Pretty sure Ripperoo's playable in Crash Team Racing. Papu Papu might reappear in Crash Team Racing. He's the first boss in Crash Bash. Mario brutally killing all people in block. You know, Teak, I know what you're talking about. It's a line in the manual, but the evil spell that Bowser has cast on the people of the Mushroom Kingdom doesn't turn them into blocks, it turns them into bricks. And Mario punching the blocks to break them apart frees them. It's something. It's a common misconception on the internet that breaking the blocks kills the people who have been trapped in them, and it's not actually true.
I've been looking everywhere. I don't have much time to tell you this. You have to be careful. Trusting Cortex seems a little unwise. Crash, I can't keep the data path open this longer. Crash, you need to...
Cool. So, if you want to refight any of the bosses in this game, you can hold triangle when you go up or down, and you'll refight the boss. Does Mario know that now? Does Mario know anything? Has Mario ever been suggested to have any kind of intelligence? Hey, how you doing, Cole? Is this the tune? Yes. Oh, Rebel with a hot take. What are we getting? What are we getting? It's funny that you say that with noted Sonic the Hedgehog fan Teak the Gamer in the audience. Never seen him fix a toy. Originally, Mario was a carpenter. They've retconned a lot of that Mario lore over the years. Did Crash actually end up with a better catalogue of games than Sonic being based on Sonic? I don't think he was based on Sonic so much as because like I assume you're talking about how in development Crash was referred to as Sonic's ass game, which was because they knew that the main character was going to be an animal, but they didn't know what animal it would be. And Sonic was the most popular animal mascot character at the time. Alright, we're getting quite a few things, so I should probably actually stop so I can talk about them. I wouldn't say Crash was based on Sonic. It was really just they were making an animal. They didn't know what it was going to be. I think a Sony executive was angling for the name Willy the Wombat for a while, and Naughty Dog were absolutely like, no. So going back to what Rebel suggested, did Crash end up with a better catalogue of games? This is going to tie into what I'm laughing to death asks of like, did Crash steal a bit of Sonic's thunder? I think at the time, the absolute lack of Sonic games stole Sonic's thunder, and Crash ended up with a better library just through existing at that time. You got to remember, between Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure, like the Saturn came and went without its own Sonic game. Of note, Sonic R does not count at all. Crash being the PlayStation mascot, I know where we're going with this. The thing with that more than anything is PlayStation didn't really have a mascot, and they pushed almost anything that was popular as a potential mascot. Crash appeared as the idea, Lara appeared at least once as that, Cloud Strife appeared as that at least once. And by the end of the generation, PlayStation still didn't have a definitive mascot they'd stuck with. Who's on my PlayStation Mount Rushmore? Like the four most important, I guess. Final Fantasy VII, absolutely. So Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII, like broke it big for JRPGs. I don't think we'd be in anywhere near the same position as JRPG fans without Final Fantasy VII. Love it or hate it. Lara Croft, yeah. Crash, yeah. Because Crash came in 96, and while Sparrow was also big, by 98 it wasn't as important anymore. Sweet Tooth is interesting. I wouldn't have said Sweet Tooth, I would have said Snake. Crash, Lara, Cloud, Snake. Mascot has to be a cartoonish platform game character. there was that idea at the time, and it's interesting to see how that's kind of changed. Because we're at the point now, like, Microsoft launched the Xbox, and what was the Xbox? Damn. What was the Xbox mascot? It was Master Chief. Like, from the beginning, it was Master Chief. Which, design-wise, especially in comparison to characters like Crash, or Spyro, or Sonic, or even in like more human terms like Lara or Mario, Master Chief's design is really bland. But by that point, it had absolutely changed what a mascot could be. That's not true. Consoles have had mascots, they're just less colourful. Like, Nintendo has always stuck with Mario. It's always been Mario, Mario has always been colourful. As it went on, I think probably the way... Like, Crash and Spyro were big for PS1, Lara was big, Snake was big, Cloud was big. None of those were owned by Sony, though. And it's like, you come out of the PS1, and how many characters like that were actually owned by Sony? Parappa the Rapper? The Daniel Fortescue? But, like, because of that whole thing, Sony comes out of the PlayStation era without a mascot to really call their own that is overly recognizable. And so, in the PS2 era, when they get their first really big first-party hit, that character then becomes their big mascot for that era, and onwards until we ended up with stuff like Uncharted, at which point you could argue Nathan Drake was the mascot of the PS3. While the mascot of the PS2 was probably Kratos. Mario's been the most associated character on a console since the N64. What other character would you suggest? Nintendo has always been Mario and always will be, and I don't know where you're going with this. I'd say Pikachu counts as a Nintendo mascot because Nintendo has a claim to that. Nintendo owns part of it. Like, Pokemon's split between, I think, 3 companies. Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, and Game Freak. If I was going to claim that Pikachu was the mascot of any part of Nintendo, it would really only be the handhelds, where Pokemon was at its biggest and best. But even then, like, you go back to the original Pokemon games, and the mascots there are absolutely more likely to be Charizard or maybe Blastoise. Oh yeah, we're back with handgame music. I'm saying any Nintendo console had an undisputed mascot from the GameCube. That's suggesting that each Nintendo console had a different mascot. And I would say it was always Mario. Like, you pick out every Nintendo system. Thanks, Kat. Like, you pick out every Nintendo system, and the big thing has always been Mario. NES, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Nintendo, Mario World, even at the start, which is why it was weird there was never another one. N64 was Super Mario 64, GameCube. Regardless of what your opinion on it is, and I know my opinion isn't exactly positive, Super Mario Sunshine. Wii, Super Mario Galaxy. The Wii U is probably the big exception. Super Mario 3D World didn't exactly set the world on fire, but it was there. Then Super Mario Odyssey again on Switch. And then, even in the handheld days. Doesn't have to launch a system, Teak. Let's not forget, Sonic only launched one Sega system. Except Monster Rancher. I like Digimon, and it's been a nice thing over the last decade or so to be getting more Digimon games in the West. I played the shit out of Cyber Sleuth when that came out. Yep, she did. That's our cat, always bringing in those weird takes. It's Cyber Sleuth. But it brought Digimon back. It brought Digimon back in the West. And without Cyber Sleuth being a big success, we never would have gotten Next Order. Cat remembers Monster Rancher. To be fair, I also remember Monster Rancher, but we've established by this point that I am just weird like that. I remember when Monster Rancher was on TV, Cat. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, timed that wrong. It's more a slip of the tongue, honestly, laughing. As it is, I have more positive thoughts about Monster Rancher than I do Monster Hunter. I remember Card Captor Sakura too. Everybody else is always like Sailor Moon, I'm always like Card Captor Sakura. So now we get to take a look at the secret warp room. Which is actually the remains of Cortex's old base from Crash 1. You can see the other two islands in the distance, which is really cool. This is the secret entrance to the second level from the first warp room, which is how we get the red crystal that we saw earlier. I've never liked how you can't slide into those guys while their spines are out. It feels like that should be the answer. Now, if you want to get all the boxes for the box gen, you gotta go back here and do all this. Can I get that with the crouch jump? No. No. Yeah, I would, like... In regards to what you were saying, though, Teak, specific console mascots, I don't think were ever necessarily a thing. It was always brand mascots. And Mario's always the Nintendo brand mascot. There's never been any competition on that. And for every console, Mario will continue to be that mascot. Because, like, beyond that, try and claim what the mascot would be for the Sega Master System. Is it Alex Kidd? I don't think it is. Oh, there we go. I mean, Sonic can take down Mario if you're playing him in Smash. They didn't put Bomberman in Smash. One Luigi. Hello, yes, I'll take one Luigi, please. Love Luigi. Luigi's great. He's the best. Once again, if you subscribe to Clim Hazard, that's Clim Hazard 27, and you subscribe with a tier 3 subscription, Clim will send you a personalised video of himself doing the Crash dance. He'd run RE1 remaster. You know, he might actually do that if you ask him. You want to talk about an improvement from Crash 1 to Crash 2? The riding levels. Polar controls so much better than the Warthog does in Crash 1. And these levels are just immediately, because of that, so much more fun. That's a bold man, Cat. Clint didn't like playing Nari 7 normally. Excuse me. Ah, it's a Romo. Yeah. Hallway only percent. Means the only place you can save is in the hallway, which is funny because in the remake they removed that typewriter and they put it in the dining hall instead, so you can't save anymore. You're not allowed to save anymore in the remake run. Well. Anyway. I still haven't streamed RE7. And I'm okay with that. It's surprising they put that platform there to take you back here, because every other level in the game will just be like, hey, walk backwards. I finally uninstalled a remake from my Switch this week. I say my Switch, I mean my Switch Lite. I finally uninstalled Remake from my Switch Lite this week. And I'm happy with that. Oh no! How you doing, Flame? Yay!
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger.
What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I'm of noble blood.
I'd stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with a night that no sane man would welcome.
And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night. Resident Evil Remake, Zeke. It's another game I own on too many systems. I didn't pay much for it on Switch though. When I actually buy it, Flame. That steel crate is so hard to get. Doing that tavern owner voice always kills me. Always ruins my throat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on PC. It's also probably on Switch. I think what I want to do with the Front Mission remakes, though, is wait until 2 and 3 are also out, so I can judge the collective quality. Shit. Well. Yeah, well. Goes down by a mile because I'm left alive. We don't have to count that to do with anything. Like, we don't say Metal Gear Solid's collective quality goes down because of Phantom Pain, we just don't count it. It's so weird that they put out Left Alive and were like, yeah, this is connected to Front Mission, when they hadn't touched Front Mission in like 15 years. Because of every game released after Sonic Adventure. I mean, there were some good games in that time period, though, Teak. Yeah, Ground Zeroes is bad on Phantom Pain. Like, Sonic Advance 2 isn't awful, and Sonic Rush is pretty good. And Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors DS. I feel like the main thing, like, the single main thing that Sonic Colors does really well is, like, immediately opening with a high spirit. Advance 2 is awful. The worst of the trilogy. Ooh. That's a take. That's a hot take. That's the hottest take today. Oh. Why am I having so much trouble actually breaking the boxes today? Need more hot takes. So you say between 2000 and 2017, T. What was the Sonic game that came out in 2017? Wasn't it Sonic Forces? Or was that 2018? Was it Sonic Mania? Rebel. Come on. It's not a hot take, that's just fact. I don't know where you're going with it. You know what? No. The best Sonic characters to come after Shadow. You had Shadow, then you had Omega, and then you had Blaze. Great. All three, great. And the only game all three of them appear in is Sonic 06. Second one's by far over. That's not wrong. Always more hot takes. Bring me your hot takes. I will judge them by their spiciness. You say that, but like, let's go back to Sonic Advance 2 where Cream is objectively the best character. Cream has been underutilized in the franchise, like everybody who isn't Tails. Though, to be fair, even before Sonic Team was all like, we're not going to use anybody who isn't Tails, maybe Knuckles, and very occasionally maybe Amy, they were underutilizing Cream. Like, I think in the games, the last time Cream would have appeared would be Generations. And before that, I think the last time she appeared before that was Shadow the Hedgehog. So yeah, go ahead, bring me your hot takes. It's a Saturday night, I have enough rum. Bring me your hot takes. Oh yeah, she was in Sonic Rush, wasn't she? She was Blaze's partner for some reason. I didn't get the crystal in that level. Come on, Rebel, I want to hear some of your juicy hot takes. Don't disappoint me now. Let him get in on this. Well, I think pairing up Blaze and Cream isn't necessarily something that needs to happen again. Just bringing Blaze back, I think, is the best idea. She's the best part of basically every game she's been in. Kind of Amy's friend. Amy's just a terrible influence. Cream is actually the only character in the Sonic series to have a parent. Which is really weird. Is that a hot take, or is that just Teak trying to cause controversy? Which part of Sonic 4? Is it like all of Sonic 4, or like just Sonic 4 Episode 2? Because if it's just Sonic 4 Episode 2, then I would probably agree with that. But I would say Sonic Advance 2 is better than Sonic 4 Episode 1. Easily better than everything that came after it. Is that true though, Teak? Is Sonic 4 Episode 1 more enjoyable than Sonic Battle? I really don't think that's the case. You say that, you wouldn't even play Sonic Battle. I can't take your word for it.
Ten of 25 crystals. You're on your way. I'm running low on power, so communication from this point will be difficult. Again, be wary of the pathways between warp ruins. Remember, I'm counting on you.
You know, if you want to talk about characters and Sonic Battle, it's like, why was Emerald created for Sonic Battle, and then they just did that again, but called it Shade in Sonic Chronicles? You know what? I actually have just realised what I actually want. This is better off up here. This is better off down. Yeah, that is actually much better. I won't say that to M-Dub. If your reaction when Sonic Boom was announced wasn't why did they rename, or why did they rename Styx, or what was I think? If your reaction when Sonic Boom was announced and displayed wasn't either why did they rename Marine or why are they bringing Marine back, then you're not a true Sonic fan. Once again, if you subscribe to ClimHazard27 with a tier 3 subscription, he will perform the Crash Dance for you. Tier 3.
Good show, Crash. The Komodo brothers obviously lacked your mettle. But now is not the time to get cocky. There are still many crystals to obtain. Remember, the world is counting on you.
Probably counting somebody else. Anyway. Game of the year, but it's only March. I do legit love though when like the top contender for Game of the Year comes out in like the first couple of months though. It's legitimately really funny to me. Miss me, bitch. Like in 2005. The cool kids among you in the chat know exactly what the Game of the Year of 2005 that came out early in the year was. How well rated Persona 3 Reload is. Forget how Persona 3 Reload is yet another remake that Atlus has put out that has extensive DLC again. So tired of Atlus's DLC practices. Here we are again with Shin Megami Tensei 5, just like we were with Persona 5 Royal. Thanks Atlus, I love buying games multiple times. Let's be fair, Rebel, it's not difficult to be the best version of Persona 3. Like, I love Persona 3, it isn't difficult to be the best version. Is it, though? Is it? Best original and product. Yes, but is it difficult to be better than all of them? No. So WoW came out in like 2002, right? I said, is it difficult to be better than all 3 of those versions? No, WoW was earlier than that. I know it was. Hey, Amanda. Pretty sure you were out of school by then. But yeah, like, I love Persona 3, but FPS is rough. And, like, big part of the reason why I tell people, if you're going to play Persona 3, go with Portable. But even then, Portable has its own issues. Largely caused by it being made to fit onto a handheld at the time. Wish Silent Hill 3 Remastered was good. I wish Konami had put Silent Hill 2's PC release out on GOG. As it is, I still need to pick up the Abandonware version. And then put the enhanced fan patch on it, the enhanced edition fan patch on it. Oh, here's a hot take, alright. Let's go! I could agree with that. I think Silent Hill 2 is a better experience, but 3's the better game. I picked up another mask, you cheating dickbag. Oh, I have no faith in the Silent Hill 2 remake. I think it can't possibly capture what the original was about.
Crash! Thank goodness. I hacked into Cortex's computer and found detailed schematics for an improved Cortex Vortex and a suspicious-looking space station. I'm not sure, but Cortex might be trying...
Yeah, so something we learned about Clem over the last few months is that he hates Silent Hill 2. I don't know, I think even that would take away from what Silent Hill 2 is all about, Rebel. Especially the enemies. The weapons, if the weapons were a New Game Plus thing, the same way as like the katana or chainsaw or the sexy beam are, then sure, more weapons. But other than that, ah shit. I think the biggest improvement you could make to Silent Hill 2 without diminishing it in some way would be to give it a little more direction in the early game. I've said previously, the hardest sell for Silent Hill 2 to a newcomer is just the opening wandering around the town. And I get the intention of it. You're supposed to feel the isolation, the loneliness, surrounded only by monsters as you explore and try to figure out where you want to go. But it lasts too long and the town you have to explore is too big for that. So a little more direction in that regard would probably help. Maybe making the puzzle where you have to drop the can of juice into the trash chute a little less obtuse, like giving you a better way of figuring it out, would probably be a good idea as well. But I think, like, once you're out of the apartment complex, the game definitely does a lot better with it. And after that, like, if you don't like Silent Hill, you're not going to like Silent Hill 2. But before that, it is very easy to get turned off by what's there. Because once you're out of the apartment complex, by that point you've met Angela, you've met Eddie, you've met Laura. You meet Laura just outside the apartment complex. And then you're about to meet Maria. And from then, like, the game keeps going and is a lot more engaging than just that opening section. The problem is, to get to that point, though, after the apartment complex, is a good 2.5 hours. And it's a lot of time to demand from somebody to tell them that the game is going to get better and more engaging as a horror experience. Fatal Frame 2 probably is better than Silent Hill 2, particularly in gameplay terms. But I think what really makes Silent Hill 2 more than anything is the story and the way the characters are explored. And because there's not a whole lot else in gaming that does that in the same way as well as Silent Hill 2 does. There's the symbolism, the implications of all of it. And in particular, the fact that it's on such a small personal scale. A lot of other games that try to do similar things like that have, at the very least, the implication that if you fail here, the world is going to be destroyed, or will end, or a lot more people will die. But in Silent Hill 2, there's a much lighter sense with that. In the, like, succeed or fail, it's only going to matter to James. Yeah. I think Silent Hill 2, you could argue, is in a similar place as Dark Souls was. In the way that, like, you can try and explain what you like about it and why it's so good. But to get to that point, for a new person who's heard that stuff to get to that point, they have to put up with a lot of bullshit just to get there. And that itself can be the big turn-up. Because, like, we've all done Dark Souls at this point. And, like, you think back to your first playthrough and how fucking nonsense that game is. On your first run, when you try to figure out how to play the game and what you're doing and the way things should be done. And then compare it to how you would play the game now and how it's not a real comparison. Check out the Clim dance. Yeah, we've all done Dark Souls, but like especially that first playthrough. And there's the thing of, like, you can get people watching playthroughs of Dark Souls, and I know plenty of people will watch playthroughs of Dark Souls and find them, like, super engaging and relaxing, and I think the same is true of Silent Hill 2. But to get those people to actually play Dark Souls or Silent Hill 2 is, in a lot of ways, just not going to happen because of the specific ways those games are. And what they demand from the player in a specific sense. God damn it. I have actually been going through Dark Souls 1 again recently. And I'm at the part where it stopped being fun. Which is probably a big part of the reason why I'm not likely to ever stream Dark Souls 1 again. Because, like, oh yeah, the first half of the game, great. And then you get the Lord Vessel. Then I just don't want to play the game anymore. Fun. Badly designed. I'm gonna be real with you, Rebel. I've bought Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen like 3 times and I've still only put like an hour and a half into it. So the answer is probably at some point, but God knows when I'm actually gonna play it. Coming at you. I'm always really hesitant when people start saying a game is the best thing ever. Because, like, almost every time somebody's said that to me and I try that game, I've then really not liked it. The Last of Us is probably the best example of it. There's so much. Yeah, no, I mean, I know we're in The Last of Us with the second game. I wouldn't know, I didn't enjoy the first. Like, I know people who enjoy Dragon's Dogma, and it seems like the kind of game I'm always like, yeah, we should absolutely have more of. These weird, quirky, like, B-tier games that they might be a little rough, they might be a little unpolished, but they do so much more interesting stuff than the AAA stuff do. Liking the first is better than liking the second. Damn. I don't know, there's a part of me that's like, I should give not Dark Souls, fucking The Last of Us another chance and, like, go through it on stream, maybe. And, like, the further I go without doing it, the less and less I care. And the more discourse that comes out about it, the less I care. And the more Naughty Dog milks The Last of Us as a franchise, the less I care. Like, can you believe The Last of Us is the game of a generation for 3 generations? We gave Grand Theft Auto 5 shit for that. Why is nobody giving The Last of Us shit for it? Something was happening there. You say that, but they're remastering Last of Us 2 as well. Buy it again, because why not? No, I'm not buying it. But it's also one of those things of, like, I don't like that one company can do it and get away with it while another company gets praised for it. It's the exact same kind of thing that I give criticism to Nintendo fanboys for. Where Nintendo is allowed to get away with shit that other companies will get torched for. Also, I want Wipeout on PC. I don't want The Last of Us 2 remastered on PC. I want Wipeout on Mega Collection. I had a joke I was intending to make tomorrow, but I'd probably forget about. That smile on Crash's face is awful. Yeah, I had a joke that I was considering making tomorrow. Because, like, tomorrow's March 10th. And so it's somehow become Mario Day. Mario. But over here in the UK, it's also Mother's Day. And so, for tomorrow, I was considering the joke of, like, today's March 10th, and here in the UK, it's Mother's Day. But in worldwide, it's Mario Day. And in the spirit of Nintendo, I have filed a lawsuit against Clint for stealing my intellectual property. All that, and I still missed 2 boxes. And that would be the joke. Because Nintendo's lasting legacy currently is just rampant lawsuits. And it's not even just about the Yuzu thing.
Crash, my boy.
Everything.
You are more than halfway there. But I'm sure you've noticed that things are getting harder. The last 10 crystals will be the hardest to gather. And our enemies will be sending their strongest forces to fortune. I'll contact you again when you have completed the next one.
And now the introduction of everybody's favourite Crash boss. It's Tiny Tiger. I do like this boss fight because it's platforming and strategy. And I like that it's a boss that primarily utilizes platforming as its focus. If I was good at platforming, maybe we'd succeed at it though. So Tiny doesn't actually copy where you jump. He takes the shortest direct path to you. I also appreciate that these bosses are only taking 3 hits, unlike Sonic. I had to let that platform drop a bit so Tanya would be in the right position, otherwise he would have just jumped diagonally. Well. Remember, kids, it's morally okay to pirate games that are no longer actually being sold to you. You know, like everything on Nintendo 3DS. What's that? You legitimately can't buy the 3rd scenario in Fire Emblem Fates anymore? Treat yourself. I love that noise. There it is. I love that as a sound piece. So, like, fun fact, because Nintendo shut down the eShop, there is now no legal way to purchase Shin Megami Tensei 4 in Europe. Because it was only available digitally. And so then there becomes another concern. Because, like, yeah, I bought Shin Megami Tensei 4, I own Shin Megami Tensei 4. It was one of the first games I was really after when I got my 3DS. And it's installed on my new 3DS XL, on my new 3DS and my new 2DS XL. But there becomes a question of, like, what about when they die? I can't re-download Shin Megami Tensei 4 because the eShop's gone. So what then? I would really like it if Atlus would release SMT4 on other systems, though. Especially so other people can play them. Because SMT4 is a good game. You know what? I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting that there's actually a move that I've not been doing on the ceiling gates. If you hold circle, you'll pull your legs up. Oh. This is the level where I've got to go fast before the firefly disappears. Try again. But the idea of this stage isn't necessarily bad. Like, just go fast. It might as well be a riding level for that. I just wish the stipulation of it was something different than go fast or be left in the dark. I don't care about the bonus. Alright, let's go on the bonus. Yeah, because Crash did the go fast or get left in the dark thing in the first game already. Of course, it was worse there because the light was also your masks. If you went into that stage with any masks, you'd lose them. You couldn't come out of that stage with any masks because the mask was a light in there. Everybody do the clean dance. Digging it. This is the B level. One of 2 B levels. You know, I still hadn't actually watched that trailer. Yeah, why not? Did not inspire confidence. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a cynic at this point, and because, like, dream projects like this have been just ruined before. But I wouldn't have confidence in this project until it had produced a good season. Regardless of how good trailers look. But again, that's because I'm a cynic. And we've seen too much like that before. It's like, oh yeah, here's a good trailer. And it just does what a trailer should do. But then the actual final product does not live up to that trailer. Remember the Suicide Squad movie? The first one? With that trailer that ruined the movie? Which, like, that's not entirely fair, but that one trailer for Suicide Squad that changed the way the entire movie went. Because the movie was going to be nothing like that trailer, and Warner Brothers started panicking because that trailer was so positively received. And so they did a bunch of reshoots to try and make that movie closer to that trailer. So stuff like this, which I'm going to show off now, is why I don't want to do this game 100%. Because now to get the other gem in this level, there's boxes on the death path, which is this path, and on the regular path, so you have to go through both. Which means you have to go backwards through one of the paths. And going backwards in a Crash game is always one of the worst things you have to do. Alright, so I don't think I explained it here, but these platforms are referred to as the death path. They'll only be there if you get to the point they're at in the level without dying. Fun fact, like, once you get to them, they'll always be there during that run of the level, but in the European version, that's not true. If you die on the death path in the European version, then the platform disappears. Oh, the original doppelganger. when they remade Tomb Raider for Tomb Raider Anniversary, they brought it back, but they also like made a new storyline out of the Tomb Raider 1 stuff. And continued it into Tomb Raider Underworld, where Natla reappears and is the main villain of that, and creates a new and better Lara doppelganger. And it's a cool thing to see her come back. God damn it. Yeah, Underworld had problems, but it had some good ideas. I'll always have a soft spot for Tomb Raider Legend. Alright, so that's all the boxes from both sides. Now I have to make it back through and get to that next checkpoint, and then we'll be safe. Okay, and we're not doing that again because I don't care about the gems. I wanted to demonstrate it more than anything. And this is the kind of thing that's required of you to get 100% in this game, which is why I don't get 100% in this game. Because it's not really even a fun challenge, it's just frustrating. And then come back and hit this box, and it's why you leave this box there. You don't get that box there, you wait. Even worse, that plant there, the one on the pillar, that pillar's a warp point. So say you do all of that, and then you jump on that plant and kill that plant, jump on that platform, you'll be taken to another level. So you won't get the gem for doing all of that. And then here's the part that's really fun. This isn't the worst level for that kind of nonsense. Cold Hard Crash is so much worse about it. If you've never seen it, I encourage you to look up a walkthrough, like 100% walkthrough or 100% let's play, and see what's actually required to get 100% in this game, and just how nonsense it is, even done by somebody who can do it perfectly. Like, the kind of thing it actually takes to do it.
Crash!
You can skip the Klim dance by pressing triangle.
Almost completed the new space station. Something is not right with his statements. Beware of the tricksters.
Yeah, it's cool. Hold on, Crash. I don't think playing as Coco actually makes a difference in the Insane Trilogy. Like, she played differently in Wrath of Cortex. But in the remaster, the remake trilogy, she was just another Crash. Which was good, because playing as her in Wrath of Cortex wasn't fun because of that. Like, 100% in this isn't impossible, it's just not fun. And I'm very specific about the whole thing. If a game isn't fun, maybe don't. What was in the first one? This one. It's funny you say that, Rebel, because I'd say 2 is probably my favourite of the trilogy. It's more refined than the first game, and I think Crash 3, Crash Bandicoot Warped, gets a little too caught up in gimmicks that break the pace of the platforming. Like, you've got multiple swimming levels, all the bike levels, more riding levels, the biplane levels. Like, Crash 3 is great, but it's less focused as a result of all of that. And it's the same reason why, like, in the Spyro games, Spyro 2 is my favourite. Because the multiple character focus in Spyro 3, I think, has the same end result. And it's not like the multiple characters are bad. They're generally all fun to play as. I just think, like, in terms of enjoying it as a platformer, the second game does it better. Oh, I love Spyro 3. I think Spyro 3 is great. The Crash games are very guilty of that. Or rather, different levels, same background. Even in the first game, they had that issue of, like, a few set gimmicks. I'm going for that. And 2 and 3 continue that. Like, we've got the ice level gimmick here again. We were introduced to the B-level gimmick here. There's only 2 of those, I think. In the next warp room, which is the last warp room, we get introduced to the jetpack gimmick. There's only 2 of those. the riding gimmick, the chase level gimmick, which only stands out a little bit because the last one's a polar bear instead of boulders. The sewers, the jungle, Spyro 3 probably does better with that because its levels are bigger. And overall, is there less? There probably isn't. I don't know. I feel like Spyro 3 repeats those things less. Yeah, Spyro 2 is my favourite out of the Spyro series. I do really like Spyro 3 though. And if I feel like I played Spyro 2 like too recently, I have no issue just playing Spyro 3 instead. It's one of those things of like, my favourite Metroid is Fusion. And Fusion's the one I'll replay most. But if I'm in the Metroid mood, and I feel like I've played Fusion too recently, I will absolutely just play Zero Mission. And I've got no issue doing that. Yeah, I love Metroid Fusion. I've streamed Metroid Fusion a lot. It's probably my second most streamed game, after Resident Evil 2. I do what I refer to as fast casual with Resident Evil 2 and Metroid Fusion. Like, it's kind of speedrunning, but like, I'm not going to reset if I do anything wrong, I'm not going to do speedrun strats, really. It's a casual playthrough, but I want to see how fast I can do it, basically. And I think my current record for Metroid Fusion... Shouldn't I have done that? My current record for Metroid Fusion is 1 hour and 14 minutes. Which I'm happy with. I could absolutely get it down further if I collected less expansion tanks, but I don't want to not collect them. I can do RE2 fast enough, but like we're all part, or we're all connected to, or we're all part of a community, or we're all connected to several communities of people who really enjoy Resident Evil, and within all the communities we're connected to, I can't imagine I am the fastest RE2. But within all the communities we're connected to, I feel confident in the idea that I'm probably the fastest at Metroid Fusion. And if I wasn't doing a year of PlayStation right now, I would finish this and I'd be like, let's do Metroid Fusion so I can show you. really like Metro Fusion. Really good. Honestly, more than anything, it's probably because not a whole lot of people play Fusion. Like, even within the people in our communities that play Metroid, Fusion's lesser played than... What a load of shit. On the exact frame? Like... Yeah, so like, even of the people who play Metroid, I feel like Fusion's one of the lesser played ones amongst the people who play them in our community. I'd like to change that, but Fusion's also a hard sell for some people, because it is difficult. And it's more directed than other Metroid games, so it doesn't have the same Metroidvania flair to it. So those are fake nitro boxes, which you can tell if you look at them, they're not bubbling and jumping. So if you climb to the staircase at the top, you'll see it's a warp point, takes you to another secret level. So the question we have at the minute in regards to Metroidvanias is, how long will it be before I'm able to convince Clem to play another Castlevania game? That's the question. Go out and play Aria of Sorrow, and I think he enjoyed it, because it's a good game.
Crash, I have discovered that the opposition is being masterminded by Dr. Nictrus Brio, the inventor of the Evolvo Ray. Brio was responsible for our misunderstandings in the past. He forced me to assist him in his plot for world domination, and he's at it again. He will attempt to stand in our way. Be on your guard, Crash. Use the platform to deliver the crystals to Angel.
Like Dr. Cortex said, each of 20 crystals you've collected from me.
Okay. These are the crystals, right? This is the throw crystal button, right? You know, maybe I should just use the D-pad. Alright, there we go, that's that. I don't like the engine fights here or in Crash 3. They're both gimmicky. And overly long. Now do it all again. Don't know how that missile missed me. I didn't even realize it fired. then we'll see Engine in Crash 3. For another boss fight that's not fun and takes too long.
What is your problem, Bandicoot? I will not ask you again to bring me the crystals. Obtain the remaining 5 crystals, Crash, and bring them to me.
Anyway. Wrap this up, shall we? Playing this for ages. Sometimes it feels like you really should be playing Crash with a D-pad. You get more control over your positioning on a Z-axis that way. Way less chance of diagonals that you didn't want. The exact same reason why I use the D-pad for menus. Is this the level with the shrinkers? Get the crystal. It's a little frustrating that I did miss the crystal in one level in this playthrough, but that I missed it too late to get the special cutscene you get for beating a level without grabbing a crystal. I guess that only happens in the first world, if you beat a level without grabbing a crystal. Cortex berates you for it. Those are the shrinkers. These switches here, when you jump on them, they fire a shrink ray. And if you get hit by it, it is death. It can catch you off guard at first because it's not... The game doesn't immediately stop you as soon as you get hit by it. Alright, we're here with a checkpoint, I'll show you. And it looks like you can still go, but you can't. You will shrink too small and then die. So it's kind of cool. I'm still not sure how these guys actually work. The vulnerable point is when they're looking out, maybe? I don't know. And they don't appear in enough levels for it to become something you need to be super aware of. Did we get a cutscene after beating Engine? I feel like we didn't. Supposed to be a cutscene there of Cortex saying like, Crash, what the fuck? And the first jetpack level. So this is the gimmick that's on the box. And the title screen. Crash 3 does a similar thing with the motorbike. Well, the motorbike appears more prominently in Crash 3. This only appears in 2 levels in the final boss. These controls are mentally confusing me. Okay, so it's X to go forward, circle to go back, up to go down, down to go up, left to go left, right to go right. I've done this before, why is this confusing me? I think it's the up to go down and the down to go up. Being mixed in with left and right are actually left and right. And I need to get this down before we get to the final boss. I feel like I'd be having an easier time with this if left was right and right was left as well. They treat it like a vehicle, like a plane. I feel like any other control scheme they could have gone with would have made more sense to my head. Like, if up was forward and down was backwards, while X was up and circle was down, sure. Like, the control scheme they chose feels so confusing for me to just keep straight. And it shouldn't be. Alright, here we go. Go fast. Make up for the last level, go fast. We already did the hard version of this though, so this shouldn't be too bad. Because despite being able to get to the secret level of this style earlier, this is the easier version of it. Oh, don't want that. Don't care about that anymore. That's right, because this level has a death path. I'm pretty sure there are actually... Is this one of the levels that does have boxes on the death path? Because there are levels that have boxes on the death path, and then you have to go back. And doing that in darkness, like, you know... But there are also levels where the death path just leads you to a standalone gem with no boxes on the path. And that's fine. So we've gotten every box so far. So we've gotten every box so far. And if we get every box we come across before we get to the end, there's the end. 2 boxes. Does that mean 2 boxes on the death path, or I missed 2 boxes? That's the question. But yeah, the important thing to know about Crash 2 more than anything is, it's fun. You'll have a good time with it. If you go for 100%, that will not be the case. And the other jetpack level. Almost had that. Almost had it perfect, going at a good pace with no death. There we go. One more level. And we can all go home. Yeah, there's everything from the other one as well. There we go. So even if I was going for 100%, I'd never have to do those levels again. And let that be a lesson to you. Almost. I think that's the first time I've seen the didgeridoo there. Okay. That man is dead. Yeah, I'm in the mood to play X-Men 2: Wolverine's Revenge. Maybe I will after this stream. And then turn it off very quickly because it's not that great. There was no need to even try that. Again, just use the D-pad, gives you better Z-axis control. Started this, we're gonna finish it. There was an MMA, there was a Crash Bandicoot-like game on PlayStation that was an M&M's based game. I don't remember what it was called though. Was all that trouble worth it? We all know the answer's no. Fuck that. That's so hard. Got so far. Somehow avoided dying there. And there we go. Now just the final boss. We can all go home.
Yes, my plan is nearly complete, and I have you, Crash Bandicoot, to thank for it. Engine? What's happening? What's that? Is he stealing our signal?
Crash! Cortex isn't going to use the crystals to contain the planet's energy. He's going to harness the force and use it to power the super Cortex vortex he has built on his space station. One blast of the ray will cover the entire world, turning everyone into Cortex's mindless slave. Crash, don't let him have those crystals!
Engine, you fool! She's telling him everything! Ah, yes. We're back now. Pardon the, interruption. Crash, bring me Chris.
Well, let's go give him the crystals, shall we? This is the crystal button, right? So, fun fact, you have a limited amount of time to do this. Which is why nothing is killing me. But all it does is slow you down. Come on. Damn it. You know, never really played Earthworm Jim, never really appealed to me. I've never really been into that kind of 2D platformer, where everything's just all spread out and you move along within like a big single screen kind of idea. I've played games like that. I've played a little of Earthworm Jim, but I've never really been into that style of platformer. And that's Crash Bandicoot 2.
You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot!
Basic Pro.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex Vortex? It's still up there.
So, the good ending you get that leads directly into Crash 3, the same way the standard ending of Crash 1 led into Crash 2. You get all the gems, and then you go to the tower where the secret levels are, and Embryo uses all the gems to power a laser to destroy the Cortex Vortex space station. And then that leads into the opening of Crash 3, where Cortex is in the space station as it falls to Earth and crashes into the Temple Island again. And that frees Uka Uka, and then the plot of Crash 3 begins. Thank you, Teak. Crash 2 is a good enough game. Big improvement over Crash 1. %, is probably worse in this than Crash 1. And 100% was not fun in Crash 1. Nancy Brown. Vicky Winters, do I know that name? Nope. Vicky Winters has 2 credits to her name. Coco Bandicoot in Crash Bandicoot 2, released in '97, and Hospital Employee in Vital Signs, released in 1990. Vital Signs is the story of a group of third-year students at Los Angeles Medical School and their struggles with love, their studies, and one another. It's a movie. It has Diane Lane. Who voiced Coco later then? Huh. She apparently doesn't talk in Crash 3. Surprising. Hynden Walsh voiced her in Crash Team Racing. Surprising that didn't continue. Back to the voice actress. Anna Garduno in Crash Bash. And then from Wrath of Cortex to Crash Bandicoot on the Run, whatever that is. A mobile game launched in 2020. It was Debbie Derrillberry. Tara Strong voiced her in Skylanders Academy. And Eden Rigel voiced her in Crash 4. Well, that's been Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back as the year of PlayStation continues. We'll see. We're going to see about trying to get back to the regular streams. Big part of it is down to like my work schedule. He's just super inconsistent all over the place. This last week I've been so exhausted generally. And then beyond that has also been like my mental state really hasn't been good. I feel like there's probably a couple of Final Fantasy 7 streams you could see that in. Much as I try and not let it affect the streams. But yeah, hopefully get back to the regular streaming soon. This was a special stream specifically to cheer Clem up a little bit. I know Clem likes watching my streams. Did something a little more fun for him that we could do in one go while continuing the year of PlayStation. Lunar Silver Star story will continue. Ideally, we'll be back tomorrow with more Final Fantasy VII New Threat. But if not, we'll come... I never saved this, did I? But if not, hopefully we're back sometime during this week with some more Lunar Silver Star story complete. To continue the year of PlayStation. We started off strong, and then during February, my mental state just absolutely tanked. No, Lunar's fine. I've not got a problem with Lunar. Lunar's been pretty fun, actually. The weirdness of a couple of the bosses aside, like that... The boss on the boat was a little weird in its difficulty. But aside from that, it's fine. Like, I know we ended last session of it. Because that one boss came out of nowhere and just kind of screwed me. But I went back after that. And, like, went back through the dungeon, did some grinding, and got us to right before that boss. So the next stream would start us right there. Like, I did some off-stream stuff for that. Lunar's not been a problem in that regard. My mental health just tanked over the last month. Which, not something I really like talking about, generally. Yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying this stream for Clem. Crash 3 at some point later this year, hopefully. Spyro 2 later this year. I will have to take Crash off the list. One of the Crashes off the list. Delete the row. And save. How do I save this? Check it again. And there's only 2 sets of Crash. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully more from the year of PlayStation. After we finish Lunar, we do have the Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere stream coming up. And then after that, we'll start having the chat pick a random number. And then we'll work out what number that is to the list of games that I've posted on the Discord, the link to the Discord, the link in the Discord. Randomize that list and then see what the number pairs up with, and we'll do that from then on. And I think that should be fun. Gives us like a genuine random thing. Yeah. But anyway, there's not really anything else to say today. But thank you all for watching. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. We had quite a few people in here today. Go back up to the top. Flame, Rebel, Mir, Pat, Colt. I'm laughing to death. Peak. I think that's everybody. Flame is in here. Thank you all for joining me. Chat is always the best part of the stream. I always really appreciate it. Like I say, hopefully be back tomorrow with more Final Fantasy 7, new threat. But if not, try and keep this momentum going and do something else. Yeah, pretty much up. There's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day and take care. Catch you next time, guys.